I'm doing the head gasket on this 2006 Toyota Matrix with a 1.8 liter VVT engine. It's a common engine in the Matrix Corolla. RAV4, I think, has got one. A bunch of engines. A bunch of models have this engine. But one of the things I have to do here is I'm going to inspect this V-ribbed belt. So that's talking about your serpentine belt tensioner. And I'm going to show you how to remove this. Put a block of wood there underneath the oil pan between the jack and the oil pan, and then just get the jack up there so it's touching it but not lifting it yet. Then the next step, now when you do this, you're probably going to have your alternator right about here, but and if you have ABS, I'm guessing the ABS unit would be over here. I'm not sure if you have ABS, but the next step that you're going to do is you're just going to remove three bolts, and that's for this engine mount, right? So here's the engine mount. You're just going to remove this bolt, which I've already taken out, one. This bolt back here, oops, which I've already taken out, that's two. And then this bolt right there, which I've also taken out, that's three. Just going to remove those three bolts, and then once you do that, you'll be able to jack the engine up just a little bit. Go back here, just jack it up a little bit, and the reason is because to get this bolt, let's see, let me turn the flash on. Alright, so maybe we could see better with the flash. Okay, so you can see this bolt that's sticking out here, there's two bolts that hold the belt tensioner on. There's this one here, and then up here there's the one on the top of this piston. This is 12 millimeter, and it's, you know, it's like a flange nut, and then there's a stud, and that, when you take that off, you'll be able to move this. Then the other one is this here. Don't be fooled by this. This is what you put your wrench on when you, or your breaker bar probably, when you release tension on the belt to remove the belt. So obviously that's going to be your first step. But you can see the rest of the chain tensioner in here. Okay, so here, there it is. You see how it's already, so this bolt here goes through the pulley into the arm. So again, the only ones you got to remove are this bottom one here, which is a 17 millimeter, and you're going to need a breaker bar because this boy's on there tight. So jack up the engine enough that you can, let's see what kind of clearance, let's see if I can show. Okay, so there you can see it right there, and you can see that if you don't jack up the engine, you're not going to be able to reach that. So just jack it up a little. And there's that bolt, see? It's real long. That's why you got to lift the engine up, otherwise you're not going to ever get that bolt out. So you can see where it went, right? Right there. Alright, so now we have that flange nut off the top. You ought to be able to just grab it like so. Pull it out. So there's your belt tensioner for the 1.8 liter VVT Toyota engine. Just check your pulley. Make sure it moves well. And there's your big bolt and the flange nut. This is the piston part here. It's my understanding that this is the part that tends to go bad. Looks like you can just buy a whole new piston. Take this, take that, what's that? That's a bolt. Take that bolt off and replace that. So, I'm not exactly sure how to check whether this piston works or not. I'm going to have to look that up, and I'll replace it if I need to. But pretty straightforward. There's no reason that you can't do this as long as you have a floor jack. 12 millimeter, 14 millimeter, the 14 millimeter for the engine mount, and a 17 millimeter for that big bolt, and that's it. That's what you need. And last, the torque values. So the key is Newton meters. and then foot-pounds. So for this engine mount, that bolt, so these are going to be 38 foot-pounds. And then for the tensioner, this is also foot-pounds. So 21 foot-pounds for the flange nut and 51 foot-pounds for that large bolt. There it is. I hope this helps.